Who are you, Blues fan? We're bleeding blue with you. Let's go, Blues! Let's go, Blues! Let's go, Blues!
And aloha! Welcome to the BlueNote Fan Report. Guy, by a Blues fan, and your show that's by a fan, for the fan, and about you, the fans. Welcome, welcome, welcome. It is game day, and I know a lot of people in St. Louis don't like this one because it's a late night game. It's only 5 o'clock here in Hawaii. I know it's 9 p.m. there in St. Louis, but you know what? Our Blues are playing the Sharks. We need to chop them little Sharks up in the bait. We have got to have a good game. The Blues have not done well lately, and we all know it. We've talked about it till we're blue in the face. You know, this has been one of those games where you look at it and you're just not completely sure of what's happening, and you're hoping that this is a game that the Blues can take that step forward. I really think that the Blues can do much, much better. This is the Sharks. The Sharks started this 3-game losing streak. They can do a little bit. I don't know. So the Sharks have a unique situation right now when it comes to COVID. And I'm not sure if everybody completely understands this, but with COVID in the San Francisco, San Jose area, in that area, they have some very, very strict rules. And right now, just recently, last week, Thomas Hertl tested positive. So the NHL, using extreme caution, went ahead and canceled the game on Thursday against the Knights. Now, since then, no player has tested positive. The Sharks are very, very rested. We know that. But the situation there is very fluid. And if you remember, for the first part of the season, they played their quote-unquote home games in Arizona, not out. So this is an interesting situation that we're in. And really, up until game time, you don't know if this game's going to happen or not. It looks like it is, for all intents and purposes. And we'll talk a little bit more as we go along. I'm enjoying those of you that have decided to join me. Thank you so much. I greatly appreciate it. You're all my friends. You're all, you have other choices and you choose me for your pregame. Thank you. This is Guy, the Hawaii Blues fan. You're watching the BlueNote Fan Report on YouTube, Facebook, and Twitter. Don't forget to put that thumb in the air like you really do care. Put it up in the air. Let people know that you like this show. I'd appreciate it, and so would everyone else. Okay, so let's get into today's game and what are some of the consequences, or not consequences, I should say, that's not the right word, but what are some of the things that we're looking at along the lines of what's happening with St. Louis and the Sharks overall? One of the things to know right now is there's one bad thing, good thing. First thing, Parayko and Schwartz did not make the trip. So more than likely, they will not be playing for the next 6 games. I mean, it's rare that a player comes in the middle of a trip. They either make the trip or they don't. And that is something that there's some implications here that I think the Blues will start looking at, and you might see something happen. Jeremy Rutherford just kind of wrote an article about it on the Athletic, and he talked about the second part of this, which is the good thing, and that's Vladimir Tereshchenko on Friday skated with Shen and Perron and O'Reilly on a line, played on a line with them. He is very, very close to being back. In fact, I'm guessing you're going to see him this next weekend or in the next 2 games. They play the Kings they play the Kings. I could see them Ducks. I think it's the Kings. I could see them playing in the next series. They have 6 games. This is a 6-game road trip. I know they're playing. They play the Sharks twice. They play the Ducks twice, and they play pretty sure it's the Kings twice. This is going to be an interesting situation. And, I don't know everything about it, but I know an expert on the Blues. And this expert is my mentor and my friend. And please welcome to the show from the Drop Podcast, Mr. Lance Scott. Lance, how are you, buddy?
Yeah, I'm not too bad. How are you?
Oh, I'm not bad at all. Looking forward to this game. I got to tell you, I feel like this is the one that the Blues can turn things around. I don't know how much you heard before you came in. I was talking about Parayko and Schwartz not making the trip. Mm-hmm. And the fact that when that happens, that very rarely do players come in the middle of a trip, right? Even a 6-game trip. They're usually, if they don't make the trip, they're not going to play on the trip. Is that correct?
It's pretty rare to have a guy not go on a trip and then show up, let's say, into a trip 2 or 3 games later. It does happen, but for the most part, if they think they're going to be in at all, then they normally will go ahead and come with a team so they'll all be cohesive and stay in one area. And I would think with the way COVID is and the protocols, I haven't checked since they updated all the protocols, but I would say that would be more of a safety factor if they did allow a guy to come in 2 or 3 games in. But I can't remember it off the top of my head, but I'm sure it's happened now and again.
Yeah. But it's like we both talked about, it's a rare incident. It's not something. One of the things that I'm thinking, and now we've heard some really good news that on Friday, Tereshchenko skated on a line with O'Reilly and Perron. Mm-hmm. And even Berube said he is very close. More than likely, he could show up on this trip, and he could show up in the next game or 2. With Schwartz and Parayko being out long-term, mm-hmm. One of the ways that the Blues can put Tereshchenko in without losing any more money is to put either Parayko or Schwartz on LTIR, right?
I don't think either one of from what I've heard, I don't think either one of their injuries would qualify for that. I don't, unless they have some new tests that they've done on his lower back, on Parayko's lower back, or with Schwartz. I think Schwartz is going to be a while. I think Parayko, and speaking from a guy that's tall, I'm 6'4" and 240 pounds, 250 pounds. And he's a little taller than me. On skates, I'm 6'6". So I don't know if they measure, sometimes they measure players off skates, other time they measure them on skates. I'm sitting about 6'6" on skates. And that back just takes a beating, especially if you have a long back. So, the thing about Tereshchenko is I was told the earliest we would see him would be against San Jose, not tonight, but their next game against San Jose. Yeah. After the King series or the Golden Knight series. But I'm hearing from some other people that aren't with the Blues, some other people around the league, that they think he'll start by the second game of the Anaheim series and that they'll only play him a few minutes. He's not going to get a ton of minutes his first couple games.
Yeah, I could see that. I could see him getting, say, 10 minutes.
10 to 12.
Getting a couple, getting power play time.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. With that shot of his, and apparently, it's pretty good. So they talked about his shot, or they talked about him being on the ice, and I put a tweet out or answered, well, what about his shot? And Darren Pang replied, it's pretty good. Just ask the goalies in the crossbar. On my quote was my question to that, which didn't get answered, is, well, what about the back of the net?
Yeah. Yeah. You know, you can look good in practice. A lot of guys look good in practice, just like a lot of guys look good in the AHL. But that doesn't mean when you're playing in the NHL or when you come back from an injury, it's going to take some time. That, you know, would I be shocked if he scored a goal in his first game or two back? No, because he's just that type of a guy. I would be happy, in all honesty. Let's say he starts, let's say, like I said, in the San Jose game, or if he starts in one of the Anaheim games, I would be happy if he could get 10 goals the rest of the year. I think that would be such a plus if it was just 10 goals, considering the injury. It just still concerns me because, like I told you before, you have 2 surgeries on that one shoulder, and the chance of re-injuring it really, really go up after that second surgery. You know, there's a chance after the first, but after that second surgery, and I remember when he hurt it, he moved around, and I told him, my son was watching the game with him, I said, he's hurt again. He's hurt his shoulder. And I said, I just can't remember which shoulder it was he had operated on. But yeah, I'd like to see him come back, get some minutes, but please don't rush him. I know we've got injuries. I'd rather see the Blues just play competitive and lose a game than to really push him to, you know, put him in there for 18, 20 minutes in the first couple games. I just think that'd be stupid.
Well, here's a pretty good quote. Like, seems like the Blues don't know what the back of the net is. And you know what, Kyle? I think that deserves a little bit of a... You're right. I mean, lately, they've scored 1 goal in like 2.5 games. It's really bad. I mean, they haven't scored a goal. They scored the 1 goal in the last game, but prior to that, they hadn't scored a goal since the second period of the Sharks game when they scored the 4.
Yeah.
So, you know, this is a game. I'm not sure who's in net for the Sharks, but whoever it is, they got to get peppered. The Blues have got to pepper them. To me, I think the Blues need 40 to 45 shots on goal in this game. Right?
Yeah, and I don't think with the type of defense that San Jose plays and the way they like to press that the Blues are going to get that many. And I love his thing about being the back of the net. But what they have found, they've become very close and very good friends with the goalie's midsection. They've been shooting that puck a lot right at his midsection. And, you know, I've heard people say, you don't know what you're talking about. You know, he was just in the right position. Well, you know, sometimes the goalie does scoot over and slide in the right position and it hits him in the chest. But a lot of times recently you watch the Blues games and they shoot the puck and it just hits the goalie right here and he's got his glove to hold on to it. And you know, that a lot of times happens when a team is, like you said, they haven't scored. They just try anything and put something on the net. And sometimes it works. Sometimes, you know, you'll get a deflection. It'll bounce off the goalie's chest and he can't handle the rebound. And that just starts something. You'll start scoring and getting more opportunities and more of those, what we like to call beautiful natural goal scorers goals. But they, in my mind, I'd love to see them break out with 4 or 5 goals, but just to win this game and to look good for even if it was just for 2.5 periods, you know, to look really good for most of the game, I'd be very happy with that. I'm just worried that this team has got so many injuries. Berube, you know, is having a hard time, I think, making adjustments. It seems like he's just heavy, and that's going to solve our problems offensively. But I'm just afraid if this team, you know, starts losing very quickly, they could be out of the playoffs. And people argue with me, oh, that's not going to happen. Well, you know, you like to bring up the percentages. Right now, if you go by percentages,
we're like in 6th, right?
The Blues are in 5th place, and they're only 1 point in front of Arizona, who's in 6th place. So this, you know, for all the rah-rah-rahs and the Blues are in 2nd or 3rd place, and, you know, don't worry about it. The points percentage doesn't matter. Well, you know, it does, because you've played more games than all these other teams. Arizona and Anaheim are the only 2 teams that have played as many games as you. The rest of them are 3 or 4 games behind you. So the Blues need to come out quick.
This set of games here, I felt like they had to win. I mean, like, so go back. You had 2 against the Sharks, 2 against.
After this one, they got 2 against Anaheim, 2 against the Kings, and then the Sharks, and then 2 against the Knights back to back.
But I'm talking even before that. I'm talking about after we had the going into the set, you had the Kings, the Sharks,
Yep.
the Kings. Now you've got the Sharks again, and Anaheim, and you know, you've got. This was a period where you needed to win a lot of games, and they lost 3 of them.
Yeah, yeah.
Right? They won 1 of the 4 that they've already played. You know, before they hit that point where they're playing the Knights and the Wild and the Knights, the Wild, the Avalanche.
Mm-hmm.
You know, those are the games that are going to right now be the killers. And I've been thinking a lot about this lately. And one of the things that I think we need to look at for the Blues is, where do we place, and I don't want to call it blame, but where's the question for the answer, right? We don't even know the question to get the answer. So What's the question? Is it poor performance by the players? Is it coaching not making adjustments? Is it the injuries? There are so many variables that we really don't know what the question is to get the answer. Kyle, you're absolutely right. The Wild are heating up, and I've been worried about them since before they went on COVID. I thought that they were be one of those teams that we might have to worry about. The other thing that we got to look at is, while we've played a lot of games, some of these teams are going to have to play a lot more games in a shorter span of time, and that could help us.
Yep.
That could help us in the long run. But like, we don't know with the Sharks right now, with their situation. As long as they're playing games in San Jose, if they get 1 positive, they're canceling games.
Yeah. Yep. 1.
Right. That's it. And now you can't say it's just because they don't want the Blues to play a healthy. No. San Jose's political situation right now, they are very, very strict, and it's just not just San Jose; it's that whole area,
all of California.
Right. This Northern California is very, very strict right now, and they have told the San Jose Sharks, get your stuff together or get out of state.
Yep.
Right. Yep. So they are being looked at very closely because of that.
Well, I will tell you that one thing that's going on, and people probably figure this out, but I knew this maybe before some people. San Jose, since the beginning of the season, have been looking for alternate sites to play at. You know, different places in California they can play as home games, but then you've got some of the same rules. They're loosening the rules up a little bit in Southern California, but not much. I mean, there was even talks. I heard somebody say, I don't know if this is true, they had talked about playing in Arizona, you know, moving the team there and playing their home games there. I don't know if they've ever discussed that with, you know, the Coyotes, but they've got some plan that's ready to go in case they can't play in California according to California standards, but can play elsewhere.
Yeah. They have already, they started the season playing the first couple of games in San Jose. Or in Arizona, like you said. I'm sorry, somebody messaged me something, and I'm trying to answer it real quick. I do apologize. So they did start there. The other thing that, let's talk about something good, right? And I want to know what your thoughts on this. The Thunder from down under, Aussie, oit, is getting his first start in game from the lineups I've seen. I think he is on the 3rd line with Hoffman.
Yep.
I could be wrong. What do you think about him playing tonight?
I don't think they're gonna expect a ton from him. You know, considering, like you said, this is his first game. He'll be playing with Shin and Perron on the 2nd line. But you know, with the way that Berube is, you may see Blais move up, or or Hoffman move up to that 2nd line. I'm sure that if it's not working out, he'll make adjustments. But I think Walker's the kind of guy that has energy. He can give you some quality minutes, and maybe that type of guy can come in and just give the Blues a light spark. You know, a guy like Kyle Clifford, you know, who's not expected to score a lot. He had 3 goals all last year, has already got 3 with the Blues, and a couple of those goals were pretty big goals. They were sparks for the Blues. So maybe a guy like that, Clifford, De La Rose, McEachran, you know, those lower end guys, you know, would need to have that energy, and maybe that'll cause the the ability of the Blues to hit the net behind the goalie, maybe that'll cause that percentage to go up. But something needs to happen. But yeah, that is a positive. They've got a guy coming up that's hungry to play, and he can be physical and have energy, and he can score a little bit, so he'll provide him something. And, you've got to do what you got to do. Next man up. I hate to keep saying that, but that's basically the way it is. I'm glad that the NHL was smart enough to have the taxi squad idea, come in. I'm glad they just didn't make these guys, play with 23 players on the bench. So, yeah, I have got no problem with Walker. I do agree with you, though, your comment with him probably being on the third line. I think that's where he probably should be. But, with the way Berube's just trying to fix stuff because of injuries and changing up the lines, you may see him move to the third or fourth line. I don't know.
Yeah, here's the lines, and these lines are crazy. And I'm going to ask you, I'll go through the lines in the defensive pair, and then I want to know what your thought is on this. So here are the lines. The first line is Sanford, O'Reilly, and Kyrou. Second line is Walker with Shin and Perron. And I'm going from left to right. Mm-hmm. Blaze, Sundqvist, and Hoffman on the third line. Mm-hmm. The fourth line is the same, Clifford, De La Rosa, McCachran. Mm-hmm. The defensive pairings are Scandella and Falk, mm-hmm. Dunn and Bortuzzo, Krug and Mikkola. That's mm-hmm. the third pairing. And then the goalie's Bennington. I got to know, Lance, what do you think about that lineup?
I'm showing online that the third pairing is Dunn and Bortuzzo.
Okay. Well, this was from Lou Coric just now, so
yeah, this is what's off the Blues website. So that's what I'll go by. I don't know. Maybe Lou's found out something. I think eventually, hopefully, we'll get back to a Krug and Falk situation, because I think they work very well together. They've looked even though the Blues haven't scored a lot, they've looked very well working together. And I understand why he's doing it, because he wants a puck, somebody that can move the puck on each line on our defensive pairing. Yeah. But, Dunn needs to just stop making mistakes. If he can stop making those silly mistakes because he's pressing, he'll be fine.
Okay, hold on real quick. I got it from the TV right now. It's Scandella and Falk, Krug and Mikkola second pair, and Dunn and Bortuzzo third pair. Yeah, that's what I got just now off the Blues Live press pregame.
Yeah, that's what
Sorry
I said.
about that.
That's all right. That's what I said earlier. Yeah.
Okay.
No, but
sorry, bud.
No, that's all right. No, I could see Blay moving up with Shin and Perron, Walker moving down. I think right now he's just trying to find something that works. And, with injuries, that's what you've got to do, because like I said in several other podcasts or vlogs of yours, that you can't bring these guys in and expect them just to gel instantly. That very rarely happens. So he's trying what he can. The one thing I will say that just stands out to me that is just mind-boggling to me, is just totally mind-boggling to me, is Sanford on the first line.
Yeah, you're not the only one.
Craig Berube keeps putting Sanford in the lineup time after time after time, after mistake after mistake after mistake. When other players on this team, if they made those same mistakes, they wouldn't see the ice for a game or two. Everybody else is seeing it. He continually makes mistakes, but I'll tell you, Berube loves him, and that's why he puts him out there, and that's why he's on this first line. I don't love him. I think he's okay as a third line, fourth line guy, and that's just okay. That's not great. So one of two things: you either have too much faith in him, or you've got so many injuries you just don't know what else to do.
Yeah, I seen real quick, Jason Nichols. Yes, you may share away. Jordan, I will tell you what my pick is here shortly. And I seen a tweet, someone put out a tweet, or maybe in one of the groups. I'm absolutely convinced Sanford has naked pictures of Coach Berube somewhere, because that's the only way he could be on the first line.
No, you know what it is? It's naked pictures of Hitchcock, and he's threatened Berube with him. Hey, I'll show you these and make you look at these naked pictures in Hitchcock. And Berube's like, hell no, buddy, you're starting every game. You can count on that. I don't want to see Hitch.
Yeah, I know. I'm taking a step back from Berube bashing. I really am.
Yeah, I'm not trying to bash the guy.
I know.
He's just, there's circumstances here that for any coach are hard to deal with.
Yeah. No, the injuries, every team deals with injuries, and I do understand that we're dealing with heavier injuries than a lot of other teams. I get that.
Yep, all at once.
I get that. But there are things, and we talked about this heavily in the last game.
Mm-hmm.
He waited so long to make lineup changes. In the first period, it was obvious things weren't working, and he didn't change lines till the third. Why not change him in the second?
I don't know if he's just giving guys a chance to meld together, to come together. But I complained about Hitchcock changing the lines too much because he's constantly changing the lines. I want to see a line like, and I know that a lot of guys, are switchable from first to second line position wise, and they can play well with multiple players at center. But I like to see some cohesiveness, because cohesiveness breeds a familiarity with that person. And look at Adam Oates always knew where Brett Hull was on the ice, even if his back was to him. Wayne Gretzky always knew where other guys were on the ice, even if they were, to the back of him. You've got to play people together. And when injuries happen, that's just too hard to do.
Well, with the injuries, that does hurt. But at the same time, I get what you're saying about, changing lines too much. But it's adjustments during the course of a game. If this line isn't moving the puck, you need to make a change to see what can move the puck. And the Blues in that first period could not get out of the neutral zone to save their tushes.
It was terrible. And you know what? I've always thought, and a lot of people that coach me used to think, that you give the guys at least half a period. Give them at least about 2 or 3 shifts. And if you're behind and there's just no offense coming from your side, you definitely make changes in the first period. If it's a 0-0 game and you're kind of treading water and you might see some light at the end of the rainbow or something, then you check out the second period. But if it's still not working out in the second period, you don't wait till the third period to make changes.
Yeah, and that's what I kind of looked at. I mean, that game, it was 0-0 after the first, but it was absolutely, once they started scoring goals, when it was 2-0. Hey, before we get on, Lance, I know we only got a few minutes left. I got to do some business here real quick.
Do whatever you need to.
Hey, man, Jess York, this could be yours. This could be yours. You are out in front by 2 points. It's a double-point game.
Uh-oh.
Make sure you get your picks in. Yeah, I mean, I know it's not a legitimate St. Louis jersey, but the signature's legitimate.
That's all right.
And that's what's important,
Yep.
Right? There went the camera on me. I knew it was really close. So the signature
Yep.
is legitimate. That's first place.
I can attest to that because I know Brett Hull and I know his signature. That really is his signature.
Is an Ivan Barbashev signed puck. Right?
Awesome.
I think that's a great second prize. And that's third prize, Robbie Fabry signed picture. Right? So that's the prizes for my Pick'em contest. Next month's prize, I'll show that real quick, for the month of March.
Very nice.
This is a medium size, a size 50. It could be medium to medium large. I think I could fit in it, but I'm not completely sure. It's brand new. Never been worn. Adidas jersey, $140, $150 jersey. Yeah. So this is for first place, and the other places I haven't picked yet. But there we go. Those are the things that are up for grabs for next month. So get in that Pick'em contest. I really enjoy it. We've had about 30 people join it. I'd love to boost it up. I'm going to open up to a couple of new groups next month, take some groups out. Lance, I know you're in it, or you get in it from time to time. You're more than welcome to always be in it. This is going to be a fun game. I absolutely think it is. And I want to know if you have a prediction for this game, Lance.
This is a tough one because, we've seen them play against San Jose. They had that bad second period, then they had a good second period. The following game, it's just it's unknown with this team. If the team was healthy, I'd say Blues 4-2. With him being unhealthy, new guy in the lineup, changing up the defensive pairings just a little bit. I think it's going to be probably 3-2 Blues, hopefully. But I could see San Jose winning 3-2. It's going to be probably, that score, though, 3-2.
There is something we didn't talk about, and Erik Karlsson is back. Karlsson has played. Karlsson is not a positive coming back. He's a negative.
No, he's a negative.
Right? And with him coming back, I just have this weird feeling, and I'm going to tell everybody what my pick was. I picked Blues 6-0 with Bennington. I just have this. I have this feeling, and Lance, how close I get on these a lot.
Yeah.
There's just something about this game and something about this team that tells me this road trip is what they need. And this road trip might be the thing that gets them bonded. Now, I know that they can't, talk to each other. They can't be in each other's hotel rooms and that.
Not yet.
However, I'm pretty sure that there's, I know that they have periods where they can be in a hotel lobby or a hotel.
Well, you know what? I was watching one thing, and I hate to mention the Predators in any Blues podcast, but I was watching Korpisalo, who is their third goalie on their taxi squad. He's got a YouTube vlog, and it follows him around. And every time he goes to a new hotel, he shows people where they get to meet as a team. And some of them have some really nice lounges with TVs, with food, with water, with coffee. So most hotels that the NHL or the Blues do get are going to have some type where people can be around each other, at a distance. Yeah.
So I'm thinking that there's going to be, maybe it doesn't need to be a closed door meeting, but it needs to be a meeting of the minds. A meeting of, hey guys, what are we doing wrong? You know what? This is the group we got to win with. What do we need to do to win? And I think O'Reilly is that guy. And, O'Reilly keeps saying, I got to be better. I got to be better. No, O'Reilly, you don't need to be better. You need to make the ones around you better. And that's just my only knock on O'Reilly right now. I think he's trying too hard. Before we go, the game's going to start here in just a few minutes. Before we go, I want to put out one thing. I did a wonderful interview this week with two guys from Blues Warrior Hockey.
Oh,
they
cool.
are the vice president and the secretary. Now, I had originally planned on releasing that video tomorrow. I'm not going to do that. I'm going to talk to them, and I want to find a good time, like 7 or 8 o'clock this week, and release it as a premiere video so as many people as possible can get to see this. Because this interview affects every single veteran in the St. Louis area. And I want every veteran that has any type of VA rating or anybody that really wants to support veteran hockey to get in there and pay attention to this video. They talk about how you can help them, volunteering, how to become a member. I became a member of Blues Warrior Hockey. And they told me, even though they know I can't play, they're going to get me a jersey of my own.
Oh, that's cool. You know what? I was figuring something was going on with them because you posted a few of their posts on Facebook and stuff. And I thought, I bet Guy's interviewing somebody from there.
Yeah. So I'm working on a story to go with it. Cool. So that's why the other reason that I'm kind of holding off a little bit. I am absolutely supporting Blues Warrior Hockey. There is something that most people don't understand about veterans, and they think that we did this stuff that we did for we get all this pride and patriotism and all that. We may have that, but we also have a lot of scars and wounds that you don't see, and that you do not understand. And sometimes the only way to heal those scars and wounds is to be around others that have those same scars and wounds. And that's what Blues Warrior Hockey is all about. And that's why I'm going to promote it as much as I can, when I can. And it's going to go on my Facebook or on my website. I'm going to work with them, get that on the website. I'm going to do as much as I can. Well, Lance, it's about time. We got Bennington and Dubrovnik. I'll do the intermission. You're welcome. You can
Okay.
talk to me offline if you want to.
All right.
We'll do that. Hey, everybody. This is Guy the Hawaii Blues fan. This is the other pre-game, post-game, and intermission show. You are more than welcome to watch them. I'll share them. You can share them. If you're not a friend of me and you really want to know where my videos are, please friend me on Facebook. I'll friend any Blues fans, and we'll go from there. So this is Guy, the Hawaii Blues fan, saying,
Go Blues! Let's go Blues! Let's go Blues!
and I'll see you on the intermission report. Aloha!
Aloha.